Hi everyone, it's Felicia. Welcome back to my channel. Please remember to like and subscribe for content. So today I wanted to do a video on trauma, what is trauma, and just helping to explain what trauma is, how does it happen, what are some of the effects. So there are different types of trauma. Usually what people will think of is war, veterans, being in the military, natural disasters, things like that. But there are really so many ways that someone can be traumatized. So first, let's just look at the definition of what trauma is. So trauma is anything that overwhelms the body's response or the nervous system's ability to cope in a given moment. So basically all of our survival techniques and regulation abilities are just completely overwhelmed because of whatever it is that's happening around us. So some of the things that create trauma are different types of abuse, neglect, abandonment, major losses, natural disasters, being in war, military, as most people know, community violence. This could be gang violence, all of the different mass shootings and just mass violence that's been happening. Major accidents and injuries, car accidents, plane accidents, falling off a roof, things like that. Chronic illnesses or surgeries, especially as a young child, those are actually extremely invasive and violating for young children. They don't have the cognitive ability to really be able to understand or create a linear narrative of what that is. So that can be very traumatic. So I want to go through some of the different categories, I guess, of these types of trauma. So there are different types of abuse: physical abuse, sexual abuse. Some of the more lesser known types of abuse would be verbal, psychological, financial, spiritual, institutional, and systemic abuse. And I'm going to be getting more into these in future videos, but I'm just kind of doing a little intro. Neglect is when your basic needs are not met or not taken care of. So our most formative years are our birth to 5 years. Birth to 5 is the most important time for attachment, development, etc. It's when our brain does most of its developing. If there's any sort of neglect during that time, you're automatically going to get what's called developmental trauma. That can result from attachment-related issues where a caregiver is not attaching or bonding appropriately, etc. Abandonment. Abandonment is when an important figure, pivotal figure in a child's or another person's life just kind of ups and abandons them, leaves them without any sort of closure. It's just a major loss. The person is just all of a sudden no longer there. And that leads to major losses. This could, of course, be death, especially unexpected death and loss, traumatic deaths, etc. But really any major loss, losing a job, losing a relationship, losing your house, things like that. Natural disasters. Natural disasters happen all the time, everywhere. Volcanoes, hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires. We've been having more and more wildfires over the last few years. People in those areas are impacted in some way, shape, or form. Even if you don't necessarily lose your home to these things, you're still impacted. Maybe you know people who have been directly impacted. Maybe your business has been impacted. Maybe you've been at the very least displaced and you've had to find somewhere else to stay just to save your own life if you're in the path of a wildfire or tornado or things like that. War, military, those are, I feel like, the most widely known, because PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, was originally created as a diagnosis based on veterans coming back from military. So that's where most of the research has been, but there are so many other ways that someone can be traumatized. But certainly, I'm not minimizing that at all. Going to war and just being in the military in general, there's an aspect of trauma related to that. So I talked about community violence a little bit, all of the mass shootings and things like that. Gang violence, not just mass shootings. There's bombings that happen. I've heard of mass stabbings. It's just ridiculous, all of the different things going on. Accidents and injuries, and then the chronic illnesses. So like children who have cancer or other major debilitating diseases or need surgery, especially as a very young child, those can all be extremely traumatic to someone. So I just wanted to get that information out there. I will do more videos on educating the public on trauma-related issues, victim-related issues, and if there are any topics that you want me to cover that are related to trauma or just kind of mental health in general, please let me know, leave me comments. You can send me a message. My email is in my about section, so you can always contact me. But I hope that this is helpful to some of you, and be on the lookout for more videos. All right, thanks so much. Bye.